Welcome to day 23 of the hashtag July postcard play hosted by Carrie the Crafter. So I thought today I would use this card that we sort of started a few days ago where we had used stencil butter, and then I decided on the plate and I decided I didn't want to keep it, so I just used my postcard to pick up the stencil butter. And we got some really cool textures from that. So I'm going to make a background like to go overlay onto this, and then we're going to spray it with maybe something black or drippy some black ink or something. I'm not sure yet how we're going to do that, but the first step is we're going to put a pattern here, and I thought it would be cool to have like a light green where these the stencil is, and then have a dark green through the openings. Figure it out. So for me, jelly printing is a lot of playtime, a lot of seeing what happens, like what if we do this, what if we do that, and I'm always prepared to modify my plans. I try not to get too stuck on an idea. Now that is a bright green. This is one of my stencils designs available at PM Art Studio. I believe it's called Wonky O's. Pick up some of that paint. A little bit left there. I'm not going to worry too much about it. My plan is we're going to put this darker green, and these are just a cheap set from a local store. This is a Montmartre brand, Viridian, and the first one was yellow green. I would call it a lime green. So this is, I don't want it quite that thick. So I'm just removing a bit of paint and blurring it off. And then we're gonna just do in one step. We're gonna just kind of put this on here and see how it looks. Dry and pull it up, and then we'll be adding some more layers, I'm quite sure. It's pretty cool. I just put the stencil down. I guess we call that a flop off. I had the light green wet paint on the bottom, and I had the dark green wet paint on the top. So then after I rolled it with the green, light green, I just turned it over and I buried it again, and then it gave us this grungy little print. It's been just a few minutes. And that's mostly dry. We have our shape there. I'm just going to use my baby white. We'll do this. We'll kind of make it a circle. Some of that dark green paint is still wet. Kind of make it like a little vignette in the middle. We'll let that dry, and then we'll decide what else to do with this card. Now this sounds weird, but I wonder what would happen if we did a light wash of this red flash color shift. Just do that. That's interesting. I kind of like how it's getting a little bit more complex. Before I let it dry, you guys probably couldn't see that very well. See, it's very subtle there. Let's let that dry. Just gonna wipe out this middle part. And I can see the outline of where the edge of the postcard is. I'm just gonna drip some black Bombay ink, or like just sort of spread it around here. And it's gonna bead up, but that's okay. We're gonna smush it with the card. We'll see what happens. And Bombay ink is permanent once dry. So we're going to sploosh it. We're going to pick it up. And then I think we'll wipe it back a bit. Before it dries, I want to wipe off where I don't want it. So right in this middle, I want kind of like a glowy section. It's looking quite distressed. Just use another card to pick this up. See where there's, because this didn't have paint on it, it absorbs more. This was more sitting on the surface. I like that though. I want to kind of pick that up with gold and add it to the outside of that card. That might be interesting. On the edges. It's pretty thick. So this gold was the Inca Gold by Postcard. Okay. So it's getting very distressed, but I like it. See lots of texture in there. So that Bombay ink is a little bit staining, so I just had to do a double clean with a baby wipe. Just wanted to show you that. So I think I want to add like a black outline here, but I don't want to use the Posca pen. I think I'm going to use the gel plate. So I'm going to take my stencil, make sure it lines up, then I'm going to flip it over here. I'm going to use some black paint. This is just the Mars Black. When you're burring onto a stencil, you really have to use a fair amount of paint. Like when you're going through the stencil on the gel plate, you've got to use some pressure. Tissue, this is wet strength. A little bit more. Okay, so hopefully that's still wet enough. I'm going to put my card under here. And I'm hoping that outline is still wet. And I'll line it up. The card's a little bit warped, so it's a bit tricky. So it might not be completely lined up, but it will be close. So I had to just bring that closer to me so I could see what I was doing. So I've cut out this square piece of cardstock, and I think I'm just going to use my Sharpie, or not Sharpie, my brush tip, Sharpie acrylic paint pen. And I'm just going to see what that does. think I'm going to add a chunky line with this black Posca pen. I have this red Posca, which is a bit thinner, and I think it has a nicer red color. So I'm going to just do that line again, hopefully. Switch to my Sharpie brush, and I'm just going to do it by hand. Let's trace the outside of the card. Just going to fill this in a little bit with the red. I didn't like the paper showing through. I felt like the paper was showing. Just a little bit of this green. That line in a little bit more with some intense pencil. I wonder if I add it, what would happen here? So that was with this ink black Inktense. It's a tongue twister. So it just kind of brings out those crackles, not really crackles, the ridges a little bit more. So I'm just going to use these numbers here with some StazOn ink. It'll take some time to dry. It looks like I'll need to outline it. Just going to use this Pitt pen to outline the number a bit better. So here's my card from day 23. It's probably not my most beautiful card, but it was fun to use a leftover bit used when I was, made when I was making this card from day 19. So we've got two totally different styles. One's very clean, one's very grungy. And I really wanted to take advantage of that texture that was created, that dendritic pattern, when I removed the stencil butter with the card from the gel plate. So yeah, so let me know if you like this card. I hope you're enjoying this video series. Check out all the hashtag July postcard play. Everybody seems to be enjoying this challenge very much. And thanks for watching. I look forward to day 24.